welcome marketers, business owners, and digital creatives alike. We are thrilled to bring you today's webinar from dull to dollar, turning your digital creatives into conversion magnets. As the title suggests, we will be diving into the transformative power of creative digital content and its potential, not just to attract attention, but to foster genuine engagement and drive conversions. This is an era where creativity meets technology, and we are here to show you how to navigate this exciting landscape. So hosting today's webinar is yours truly, me, Karolina Slavsovaitė, digital marketing expert here at APG Media. I'm excited to facilitate today's discussion and guide you through these emerging trends. We are also incredibly fortunate to have with us Rytis Milanas, our in-house creative design expert. Hi, Rytis.
Hi, Karolina.
Rytis brings to the table years of experience in shaping compelling creatives, and he'll be sharing his expertise on integrating AI and UGC into our content creation strategies. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, come up with some questions for a Q&A session, and get ready to turn your digital creatives from dull to dollar. So I think now we can begin, and Rytis, this virtual stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again for such a warm welcome. It's actually my first time doing a public presentation like this, so I hope you guys bear that in mind. But without further ado, I guess we should start. I'm really excited to talk to you about the topic that we have here today. And I think we'll probably start with discussing the current trends that we're seeing in the marketing space right now, in the creative space. And I hope all of you can agree with me that one of the biggest things that we're seeing right now all over social media, everywhere, is artificial intelligence. From advertisements to people creating weird videos of like what iterations of popular movies would look like. And it's definitely having a sort of a massive explosion of interest, and it's very prevalent in today's lives. As you can see, like this idea that a man and the machine have been at war for a really long time is, is probably documented hundreds of years ago, and it's actually unfolding in front of our eyes. So I think this just makes everything so much more important, and how we follow the next steps and sort of adapt this trend to what we do today. I'm going to show you some examples of marketing that some brands use. Recently, Heinz did a ketchup bottle, but it was reimagined by AI. Essentially, it just created different images of what the bottle looks like, of what flavors looks like, and it creates for a really interesting sort of piece of advertisement, definitely. But I think a lot of artificial intelligence that we see today and its popularity is because it's investigated by people like you and me and just regular people. It's not done by brands. It's not extremely popular in the creative space right now. But what brings so much attention to it is social media and people creating videos, people being interested in what our world would look like reimagined by artificial intelligence. And I think that just sort of goes hand in hand, and it almost creates like a natural interest in like different brands, or renewed interests in things that were probably lost a long time ago. Another big trend, which is really important, and well, it's here to stay, is user-generated content. If you're probably interested in marketing, it's been here for the last year, and it's been here for the 6 months that we have this year. Is going to stay relevant, and it's really important, and it sort of acts as a counterweight to very forceful images of like brands shoving their ideas down your throat. User-generated content is sort of like is a safe space for people to be honest. It's sort of most of the time it comes in people just reviewing products and sharing their experiences with certain brands, giving praises, maybe pointing out some flaws that that the product has. It makes this content very interesting to watch, and I feel like a lot of people start to rely on it in terms of their decisions that they make and what they want to buy. I know a lot of people in my close circle use platforms like TikTok or Instagram to sort of get information on the brands that they're interested in, to get the general gist of maybe what people think about this brand and let's say what's the quality of the products that they make. There's a lot of things that you can find about brands, both good and bad, but I think user-generated content is definitely something that people should take into consideration, especially brands, and it's something that has been used and will be used as a form of advertisement too. Yeah, so as I mentioned, TikTok, Instagram, and currently a new addition to this trio is YouTube Shorts. So all of these platforms can be used to advertise your user-generated content. People post there. A lot of brands hire people to create content for them, to create user-generated, genuine content, and they just post them there. And people watch it, millions of people watch it, and it sort of creates a more genuine connection to the brands that that they want to have interest in. And yeah.
Ritus, would you suggest that user-generated content is likely to become even more significant as a counterbalance to the increased prevalence of AI-introduced artificial content?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the yes and a no answer. In some cases, it might even go hand in hand. In some cases, I think a lot of people might steer away from AI-generated content and stick with user-generated content because, after all, it's more genuine. You have authentic, real-life people in front of you. And yeah, I think that's another surge in its popularity that's happening right now is probably because of it. Definitely.
And what do you think, which is more easier to brands and business owners to acquire some good UGC content or to produce something really good with AI?
Well, you know, it really depends on the brand in question. I think at the time being, UGC content is just a lot more approachable. There's a lot of questions when it comes to AI and a lot of valid questions in terms of, because it's such a new thing, I think a lot of people are quite unsure about as to how to use it or what's its possibilities. And you can't guarantee a reception if you compare UGC content, where you can pretty much be sure that no matter what, people are going to see your video. If it's, you know, user-generated content, people are going to talk about your product. People are going to review it. If the product is good enough, it can work both ways. But I feel like at the moment, people will be leaning towards user-generated content to trust it more as a sort of as a source to buy your product. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, as we continue, obviously, I think it all raises a question for us all. You know, this user-generated content and this artificial intelligence is all great, and I mean, in most cases, it's applicable, right? And you see a lot of big brands doing it right now. But how would you place this sort of thing in a context of Lithuania or smaller countries where perhaps artificial intelligence isn't as prevalent? Perhaps user-generated content isn't that relevant, or maybe there's not that many influencers to use. You know, Maybe there's not such a big market for Lithuanian influencers. So it all raises a bit of a different problem. And I believe I have a few solutions for you that I can present in order to still be relevant and keep with trends, but do it at a more, let's say, budget-friendly way and a more simple way. So right here, you'll probably see some really bad reels that I made literally, I don't know, a few hours before this presentation. And this just is an example for you just to show how simple it is to make something that can be quite interesting and appear as user-generated content. If I didn't mention before, basically user-generated content, what you can define it as is something that looks homemade. It looks natural. It looks usually slightly worse quality than like a professional production advertisement that you would see. And a lot of people like that. A lot of people find that more genuine and more connecting. And I believe it's something, you know, that brands can use also. You don't need to employ influencers. You don't need to employ opinion shapers, right? All you have to do is get some stock videos, add some genuine text that would make the advertisement seem like a user-generated content video, and you can post it to your socials. You can use it as an advertisement, and it definitely works. And I guess that kind of sort of segues into our next slide, which is essentially making sales. It's all great to create different ads, to do AI ads, to do UGC ads, but what actually sells? Well, one of the answers is simplicity. And what I mean by that is a perfect example in front of you. We have some ugly ads, as I like to call them. They're not particularly beautiful, or they don't really have a hidden message, you know, but they work. They definitely work because both of these ads we have tested and they have performed absolutely amazing. So these two ads in a month's time, they've generated over 1,000 leads, which it was incredible. Comparing to the performance that we had for this client previously. And if we compare the prices for a cost per acquisition, we've seen a 4 times less price on customers, on new customers. So essentially, if we had like a €6 CPA, we ended up with a €1.5 CPA, which saves a lot of money for you, you know. And although these ads are ugly, they work. It's a proven method. You can produce them at a large scale. They rarely take up any time to create too. So it's just a very easy way to sort of get the sales that you need to get, especially if you're a business that's just started. You might not be able to have the budget to hire an in-house graphic designer. You might not be able to, I don't know, spend a week designing a campaign, a thoughtful campaign, you know, creating different visuals for it. I think ugly ads, as I call them, is a great solution for that, and it definitely works. I believe in the next slide, yeah, so I have some explanations. No, not all ugly ads are the same, and some of them work, some of them don't. Really, the most important thing you have to remember is because they take so little time, you can create them at a large quantity and just replace them as often as you want. You know, launch 4 ads 1 week, see if they work. If they don't, replace them. It's that simple. I have a breakdown just right in front of you in terms of how these ads work and how I think the customer views it. So if you look at the ad on the left, it sort of is divided into 3 sections, which I like to call the funnel. Essentially, I'm pretty sure most of you know top funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel. So this is how this advertisement works. As your customer is scrolling down, you see the top of the funnel, which is the blue part. It clearly states what's the purpose of this ad. It's a clearance sale. It's bold, and there's no extra information. As the customer scrolls down, he sees the middle part, which is in yellow, and it states what product you're selling. In this case, we are selling roller shades. It's not as exciting or sexy, but it does the job. And in the red part at the bottom, you can see the discount, which is essentially the bottom of the funnel, something that will help you capture the customer. It's a great offer, 70% discount. Don't miss it, use it now. And that essentially is a full funnel in one advertisement. If you look at the ad on the right side, it's quite similar, especially it's more centric. You basically have all of the attention of the ad pointed to the middle. So when the customer sees your ad, they're going to instantly look in the middle, and they're going to find all of the information that they need. They need to understand what the advertisement is about, which is shades. If you have a special offer, or if you have any other unique selling points, make sure to put them there. This time we had a 55% offer, which is a great deal. You definitely don't want to miss that. You can also add little bits. We have Easter eggs because that was for Easter. You can also add a alarm clock. A lot of this is subliminal messaging. Essentially, you don't make something obvious, like you don't have to say limited time offer. You can add the clock, reduces the clutter on the advertisement, and it's easy to understand. I mean, you look at these ads and within a few seconds, you understand, okay, we have a sale, this is what we're selling, and this is the discount. So, and that's why these ugly ads work. They're tested, and they might not look the prettiest. They might not have the best messaging, or I don't know, a deep meaning to them, but they work, they sell, they bring in the numbers, and then you can invest all of that money into creating, I don't know, meaningful campaigns that you want in the future.
Vitas, considering our discussion on the theme, could you elaborate on how the concept of simplicity can be integrated into AI generated and UGC content to increase its effectiveness in driving sales, or even these like funnels that you just presented?
Yeah, so it's actually quite simple. I mean, simplicity, especially in UGC content, what works really well, because UGC content in itself is very genuine. It's very open, and it's very sort of simple. It's all about the product. There's no clutter. There's no sort of I don't know, annoying exclamations or anything to distract you from what's in front of you. It's basically a person reviewing your product, or a person sharing their experience about your product, and it's just that. When it comes to artificial intelligence, it's pretty much the same, just a little bit different. Artificial intelligence basically works, you feed it information and you get the result. So in order for you to receive simple artificial intelligence created advertisements or imagery, you essentially want to feed it a simple amount of information. You want to feed it images that have little text. You want to feed it images that are simple. Let's say they're not too overcrowded with objects or anything that will take up a lot of space. And the machine is going to take all of that information and shape it into something that you can definitely use. So yeah.
Okay, that definitely makes sense, even when we take in consideration the shortening of our attention spans, the less, more concise info we provide to the users, better and quicker they understand what we want to communicate. Definitely.
The next point I want to talk about is relax. Don't take everything so seriously. I know we're talking about businesses, we're talking about profits, we're talking about money. A lot of that is really important for us to be able to do what we do. But it's also nice to once in a while take a break. So, and what I mean by that is don't stop advertising, don't stop engaging with your customers, right? but mix it up. If we use simple ads or ugly ads, as I call them, all the time, it's just going to get boring really quickly, right? So you want to mix in some of the stuff that is funny, some of the stuff that's lighthearted. I think a lot of people can agree that what catches your eye and what makes you interested in a brand is not only like the offers that they do or a great sale or or a discount, but also being able to relate to something or being able to agree on something. I think we can all agree that the cow in the middle is pretty adorable. And at the same time, the advertisement is a play on words, right? If you look to the ad on the left, I did this ad for a dental clinic, right? And we can all agree that people, let's say, delay their dentist appointments until things are worse. So it's sort of a play on that, people are hiding from their dentists. I understand that a lot of brands might have their brand books. They spend a lot of money on them and they want to use it. They want to stick to the color scheme. They want to stick to the font that they have to use or the imagery or the feeling that it produces. And that's all great and well, but what I wanted to show with the slide is even if you are a serious business, let's say like a dental practice, you can still have fun, and it's possible for pretty much any brand. And I think if it's possible for you, you definitely should do it. In terms of coming up with these ideas, it's not that difficult.
And how do you source this inspiration for humorous elements in your advertisements? You say it's not difficult, so
I'll go back a slide. Yeah. I don't think it's difficult at all, to be honest. It's really just if you don't have a team around you of marketing experts, well, then you'll have to do it by yourself. But nonetheless, whichever case it is, all you have to think about is what my customers are going through, right? What's my target customer audience? And what are their struggles? What are the things they're interested in? There's some things that are universal and applies to everyone. Some things are I don't know, more specific. But I think if you look deeper, and you can definitely find things or stereotypes, perhaps like people hiding from their dentists, that can relate to everyone and can relate to your audience. And these ads definitely work. They provide more quality to your customer. They're not only going to follow you or follow your content for the best sale or the best price that you can give, but at the same time, because you create quality in their life, you made them smile, you made them laugh, they're going to be interested in your brand long term. So it's sort of like a double win, you could call it.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So the next slide, also goes hand in hand. In terms of being, funny and engaging with customers is quite close to it. Try to be friends with your customers. Try to understand what they're going through. Try to be, I don't know, just like a big friend group, right? And I know that might sound weird, but what I mean by it is actually try to create content that relates to them. So right in front of you, you have another set of ugly ads, but again, they work. Why? Because it's relatable, right? If you look at the ad on your left, you can see a T-shirt with a cat and a T-shirt with a dog. And the question is quite simple: what people should pick, cats or dogs? Which is better? It's a question that everyone can get behind, because everyone has opinions, whether they're like cats or dogs or maybe both. And it's a great way to engage your customer base too. We did this advertisement for one specific client, and at the moment, the client has actually grown a lot in size. I think when we started, their Facebook page had a couple of hundred followers. So naturally, their posts wouldn't get that much engagement. But this one, we used it as a post boost, and it generated over, I believe, 1.5 thousand engagements, which is really big deal. And a lot of people were commenting. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, look, I prefer cats," and they post a picture of their cat in the comments. Or some people like dogs and they give you 10 reasons why they like dogs the most. Engaging with your customers in such way just sort of helps break things up a bit. So it's not all advertisement, or not all buy my stuff, buy it right now. But at the same time, you're not giving up on the idea of that, because if you noticed, you can add subliminal messaging to it. So for example, the customer that we did on the left, they actually sell t-shirts with cats and dogs. And you see people wearing their merchandise in the background. So it's a great way to connect, sort of engaging with your customers and selling at the same time. We have a few other examples, question of the day, sleeves or straps. I mean, I'm not a big expert on dresses, but I think it's definitely something, people that wear dresses could talk about and engage in a conversation. You can ask people to share their favorite pictures of their dress, maybe make a quick sort of like, not a slideshow, but a quick GIF with them. Use it as an advertisement. There's so many possibilities that you can do with all of this content, and it's all because you engage with your customers in a different way. Yeah, the last picture, well, if you have a gardening business, I guess that would be funny. To everyone else, it might not be that funny. Yeah, but it's all about having fun, being playful, keep it lighthearted, and people are going to engage with your content and consume your content, and you will create a long-term customer. Right, and I guess now the most important part, which is tools, tips, and tricks. I will share with you some of the things that I do personally when creating visuals for clients. If you are a business that's just started and you perhaps don't have a budget, these things will work for you. If you are a one-man marketing team or one-woman marketing team, these tips will definitely work for you. Also, if you're a brand owner and you're working with freelance graphic designers, right? And you need to understand better how all of these programs and all of this information works. This will definitely help you too. So one of the first things, and probably the most important things that I use in my day-to-day work, is Canva. Now I know a lot of graphic designers would probably despise me for saying that, because they're used to different programs. They use Photoshop and Illustrator and so on. But honestly, believe me, Canva is a great place to start. It has tutorials if you're just starting out and have no idea what designs to do. It has different formats for you to use. So whether you need to make an Instagram story, a square ad, if you need to make a video, it has all of that. If you buy a premium subscription to Canva, which I believe is not that expensive, somewhere around 10 euros a month, you also get access to their database of pictures, videos, fonts, like whatever you can imagine. It's royalty free. You can use all of it. It's a great tool if you want to save some money and create great designs. It also has loads of templates for you to choose. So if you're starting out and can't create anything from scratch, do not worry. You can definitely find any template you want. Just put in the keywords like minimalism, or I don't know, whatever color scheme that you want to have, and it will just like generate you thousands of different templates that you can use for your ads. And well, essentially, I'll give it out. I've created this presentation on Canva, and as you can see, it definitely looks great. At least that's what I think. Another great tool is Pexels. I use it all the time. It's basically royalty-free pictures, but it's not your typical Shutterstock images where a lot of them seem to be outdated. This is more artistic. It has sort of more pictures that are in muted tones, something that might speak to a younger audience, definitely something that's more aesthetic. If that's what you're looking for, this is a great place to find all of these pictures. Again, you type in some keywords, it will show you loads of pictures. You do have a choice between a free and a premium subscription. Premium subscription, I find it gives you a bit more options, but definitely you can get by just using a free option there too. Photopea. So sometimes when I use Canva, there's some things that I specifically need that, let's say, it's just missing. If you're starting out, you probably won't run into this issue, but if you're a more experienced, let's say, designer, and perhaps you're not able to afford Photoshop, Photopea is a great way to go. It's essentially a web-based Photoshop. It accepts all of the Photoshop documents, Illustrator documents, it opens them. The UI interface is pretty much exactly the same like Photoshop. It has all the main capabilities that a paid program would provide you, but you get it for free. So essentially, that's great. Yeah, another platform that I use is Unsplash. It's pretty much the same as Pexels. It also gives you pictures. So sometimes if you can't find something on Pexels, you can always go to Unsplash. It's free. It has some beautiful aesthetic pictures that you might use. Yeah, this is probably quite important. So this tool is one of the reasons that we have this presentation for you today. So Add Creative AI is a new thing. I would recommend this tool for someone that's not experienced in creating designs at all, and is probably the most affordable way for you to do it without putting in any work, not hiring any freelancers or any graphic designers. Essentially what it is, it's a artificial intelligence tool. Once you go there, you give it a few sort of indications of what you want your advertisements to be about. So for example, in this slide, you can see that the brand is Tesla. You choose the size of the advertisement that you want to have. So for most platforms, it will probably be a square size, as you can see, post size. You input text that you want to have on your advertisement, and you can provide a couple of images too. And what it's going to do is going to generate you hundreds of images of ad creatives that you can use. Unfortunately, this is a paid option, but if you want to try this tool, it does have a free trial that you can have a look there, see if it works for you, see if it does what you need it to do. And if it does, well, great, you found a solution, and you can possibly save money here. And definitely test them out, see if they work. I can imagine that there's pretty much anything that you could, it's not something that you can't find, let's say in Canva, except, well, in Canva, you have to do more manual work. Here, it's all just put all out for you in one place. You can download whatever you want, pick and choose. So yeah, it makes it a lot easier. And one of the last things that I want to mention is CapCut. So we did talk about user-generated content, and a lot of it usually is videos. Well, I can imagine that a lot of brands probably don't have enough money to hire a video editor or I don't know, a freelancer that can create such things for them. So yeah, CapCut is a great way for you to get an introduction into creating user-generated content, as I've shown you a couple of slides back when I made my ugly GIFs too. Yeah, so this place basically has all of the templates for you, Instagram, TikTok, Reels, whatever you want. It has different styles. It allows you to use different videos. It also has a video editor, so you can just upload a raw video if you want and cut it there, add some music, literally do whatever you want. It's a big field for your creativity. A lot of these tools that I mentioned, they also have tutorials on them. So if you are not sure how to use it, or you feel afraid, I don't know, maybe you're not really well versed in technology, that's absolutely fine. A lot of these pages, as I said, have tutorials. They're usually highlighted at the top. You can always just go there, and they have different questions, frequently asked questions, and answers to them, or maybe videos of even showing you how to do a certain thing. So yeah, in terms of my recommendations, that would probably be it. Yeah, I thank you so much. This has been amazing, actually. Um, I'm having so much fun.
Thank you, Ritis. I'm glad that you're having fun. So I think it's time for our Q&A session. Until anyone from our listeners musters the courage, I have a few questions for you. So getting back to the first topic, AI, we had this discussion yesterday with you. Why would you think there aren't like many viral or any viral campaigns in Lithuania using AI, since a big chunk of our audience is from Lithuania? I think it's very pressing topic for us.
No, definitely, definitely. I guess, well, I think there's a lot of things that go into, AI advertising. I think the reason why it works abroad, or well, abroad, I mean United States, all of the Western world essentially, is because it's all built on pop culture, and Lithuania doesn't specifically have a lot of pop culture to begin with. So a lot of these moments come from that. Like, I'm sure you've seen the Harry Potter videos, or Balenciaga Star Wars and stuff like that. A lot of that comes from having that sort of pop culture identity, and obviously not necessarily you can't turn all of that stuff into advertisements. But I think it sort of plays into the whole idea that a lot of people are just not interested in that in Lithuania. I think there are definitely brands in Lithuania that would be able to use that, but I don't know, for some reason they still haven't. But for most people, and I think for the vast majority of population, artificial intelligence isn't as relevant. I think for us, the experts, us, the people that are interested in this sort of stuff, is all we can think about, right? It's all we see about. But for everyone else, I would imagine it quite difficult to sort of understand. I'd imagine, my parents or my grandparents seeing an AI advertisement on TV and thinking, what the hell is that? Like, what's that about? Why do I need that? And I'd imagine a lot of people would have a very similar reaction. So it's probably more a question of maturing for AI content in Lithuania. But there's definitely a possibility there. I'm probably just waiting for some of the well-known brands here just to capitalize on it, because it could be a gold mine, but nobody's doing it yet.
Yeah, so I guess it depends on the audience, as you said. If a very well-known brand as Lidl, or maybe like this historic Lithuanian brand Gaidelis, with a younger target audience, would use AI, they might have a very successful campaign. If somebody is completely new in the market, then the results might be something completely different that would marketing, I don't know, people would expect. We have one question for you. How about using Midjourney for banner production? How does it compare relative to Ad Creative AI?
Well,
have you used Midjourney?
Personally, I haven't, but the way I see it is a lot of these AI tools won't really take you to the end goal, right? A lot of them are not optimized, really well optimized for Lithuanian language. So let's say if your target audience is Lithuanian, you might have some spelling issues or some grammar issues. I think for Midjourney, you probably need to provide more sort of entries in terms of what you want to see in your advertisements, while as Ad Creative AI is basically you have 4 boxes that you need to fill in, which is essentially your logo, your text, provide a picture, and choose a format. It's that simple, and it creates hundreds and hundreds of examples for you. You can pick and choose. I'm not saying like that's absolutely amazing. I mean, it is for the amount of quantity that ads that it can create, but we're talking about quality. It might be a little bit different. It's really just a question of testing and seeing what works, making some ads on Midjourney, trying them, seeing if people and the audience respond to it, seeing maybe there's any difference between them and creating the ads from scratch, you know. And then you can also try add creative AI too, see what they produce. I think a lot of it is going to be based on templates, right? Is going to be based on algorithms. So if you want something more custom, which, you know, creating funny, ugly ads, like I said, you probably can't do that there. And it takes a bit more creativity and a bit more thought that goes into it. But yeah, as I said, AI is such a new thing. I definitely think it's the question of just trying and seeing what works for you personally. And plus it has a free trial, you know, so it doesn't cost anything to try it.
And I think I can also chime in into this answer since I've used Midjourney. I believe that if you want to generate any creative, then it's quite easy with the help of Midjourney. But if you have something very specific in mind, a vision in mind, then it's quite difficult. You still have to be you still have to have some kind of a design education, because you need to know the specific terminology. You need to know even the artists or styles of art to tell the AI what kind of creative you want. Then there are specific rules, how, for example, to tell the AI what weight each word in your prompt carries. So yeah, a lot of different moving parts. So for generation of anything, of maybe, I don't know, like these fun Balenciaga videos and images, that's fine. But if you have a specific, I don't know, like vision for your ad, then either you need a professional for that, or you will still have to put a lot of work to come to the finished product.
Well, I'm not sure I would agree with a lot of work. I mean, you know, if you don't want to use AI, or if it's too difficult for you, right? As I mentioned, like Canva has loads of great templates. Like so many times you're stuck for ideas as to, I don't know what I want my advertisement to look. And it just has thousands and thousands of templates that you can use, whatever style you want, whatever font you want. It's so many possibilities. It's just a question of sort of having an idea, a sort of a slight idea of what you want, and then just going deep dive into it and finding all of that out.
Yeah. We also have more like a comment, not a question, still related to the previous question about Midjourney. So yeah, the same situation with Adobe Firefly. Sometimes it could be useful to generate something, but needed modify a lot. So kind of same that we discussed. It's good for like the core image, but you still need to add text, graphics, some adjustments, and so on.
You know, I'd imagine in the future it probably advances even more, and it probably makes things a lot of the time more simple. But I think at the state that we have it right now, is great for sort of testing it and trying it. But if you have something specific, again, you just probably will have to do it yourself or get someone else to do it for you. A person, I mean, not a robot.
Yeah. So I don't think we have any more questions coming. So Ritis, thank you for your answers. That's a wrap, everybody. Massive thank you to you all for hanging out with us at the From Dull to Dollar webinar. We've loved having you here. So big shout out to Ritis for dropping knowledge bombs about AI generated and juicy content. Now it's over to you. Take those insights and start turning your content into conversion magnets. If you got any questions, and if you need more information, just hit us up at APG Media. We're here for you. And don't forget, you can always catch the replay if you need a refresher in APG Media's YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in and keep being awesome. Catch you next time. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Thank you so much.